All right. Hello, hello, everyone. Thanks, guys. All right. Thank you so much for coming out to this session on a Wednesday evening. My name is Lauren Koo, and I'm a program manager on the OneDrive mobile team. Now, before we get started, I want to open us up with a quick poll. How many of you are either personally using the OneDrive mobile apps or you know your end users are using the OneDrive mobile apps? Show of hands. Awesome. That's a great number of you, and we love seeing that. And the reason we love seeing that is actually because our user research indicates that when a user engages with OneDrive on multiple endpoints, say mobile and sync client or mobile and web, their user satisfaction as well as their engagement with our product go way up. That makes sense to us on the team because these users are actually getting the most value out of Office 365 and OneDrive together. So we're going to spend the next 20 minutes together going through how the OneDrive mobile app actually does that. What are those delightful features and user scenarios that actually allow you to save time, work on the go, and fall in love with OneDrive? We'll go through 3 sets of demos today. The first will be around file viewing, finding, and sharing. Those are crucial to working on the go, and so we continually invest in improving those experiences. The second set of demos that we'll go through are around how the OneDrive mobile apps turn your phone into a really helpful tool for your meetings. And then lastly, we'll go through a set of demos around productive photos and how we're using those great cameras that are on your devices to help you get work done. So because we only have 20 minutes, I actually don't really have slides other than this one, and we're just going to jump into demos. So let's go ahead and get started with input, I think, 6. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started on Android. And as I mentioned before, we're going to go through those core file viewing, finding, and sharing experiences. For those of you who were at Ignite last year or you were at our keynote earlier this week, you'll know that OneDrive supports over 320 different file types with rich previews. We're integrating that same awesome, powerful viewing technology right into our mobile apps. And we're bringing rich experiences for previewing for popular files like DICOM, text and code, 3D, and large PowerPoints. I'm going to show you most of those today, and we'll go ahead and get started. So here, I'll start us off in grid view so we can really appreciate all these big previews that we're getting. And the first thing I'll open up is this text and code file. And as that loads up, I want us to all think for a second about if any of us have tried to view those kind of code files as a text file on a small screen. It's really difficult. And so with our new previewer, these text and code files are now colored and spaced so that they're easily parsable on the go. The other one I want to show you is a 3D file. So here I have an object file. And so when I go ahead and tap that to open, OneDrive will generate an interactive preview for me that I can pivot and swivel right here on the device. So as I move this around, I can see this from all angles, which is just a lot of fun and really cool, especially if this is part of your day-to-day. The last one I want to show you is with large PowerPoint files. So to do that, I'm going to actually put us into list view so we can see how big this file is. We're going to be working with this top one that's 221.8 megabytes. When I go ahead and tap that to open, I'm going to first move us into landscape view so that we can see this in its full glory. So when I open that up, OneDrive is actually going to start progressively loading these slides, so I don't have to wait for the entire file to download before I can view. I can also view this PowerPoint as the author originally intended. This particular file has a lot of beautiful animations and transitions, which previously I couldn't consume right here on my phone. But now, as I swipe from one slide to the next slide, all of those are supported right here in the app. Another great thing about some of the work we're doing is we're integrating that core file sharing experience right here into the app. So if I go ahead and wanted to share that large PowerPoint file, I could tap this and hit share. This will bring up a familiar unified sharing experience right here in the Android app. This is really starting to be found everywhere where you can interact with your Office 365 files. If you were in one of our earlier sessions today, we talked about how this is coming to the Office mobile apps, and it's already in OneDrive on your desktop, on the web, and really, again, anywhere you interact with those files. This follows all of your organization's defaults and policies. And so here, I'm actually going to go ahead and send this to my colleague, Deborah. I'll go ahead and hit send. All right, so before we go and look at what that looks like on Deborah's end, I want to call out briefly some changes we're making to the shared view. For those of you who have been using our product already, and that's most of you because we did our survey, you'll notice a couple things are changing here. We're updating this view to highlight crucial metadata like who shared that file with you and when they shared that file with you. You'll be able to sort by this data, and in this case it's sorted by who shared that file with me, but I could also sort it by what files have been most recently shared. And you'll see that I could find files that were shared with me today, or some other day, or some day last week. All right, let's go ahead and switch over now into what that sharing experience looks like for Deborah. We'll go ahead and switch over to 5. Nope, not that one. 7. All right, 7. OK. From here, let's see. Deborah just got that push notification from that sharing. So when she opens that up, we're going to see something pretty familiar. And remember, that was that big PowerPoint file we shared earlier. On iOS, that same viewing experience is supported. And so if I swipe from slide to slide, I get those same animations. And sometimes some beta software. All right. So that wraps us up for our first set of demos around finding, viewing, and sharing files. Now I want to talk a little bit about that second block that I mentioned. And that's around how the mobile apps, the OneDrive mobile apps in particular, turn your phone into a meeting essential. That's really fun for me to say, because normally we don't talk about phones as an essential thing we need to bring to meetings. But with the OneDrive mobile apps installed and these features there, it's absolutely true. We'll go through this with an example. In this example, I am waiting to meet with 2 of my colleagues to discuss a report. I arrived a few minutes early, and I don't really want to be on my laptop when they walk in. I don't really like how that might come off as. So I'll go ahead and check kind of quietly on my phone whether they've been able to view that file. That's in my Documents folder here, and I'll scroll down to that file that we're going to talk about. It's this Q3 sales and marketing report. And I can go ahead and tap this eye icon at the top and see who's viewed that file and when. These are updated in real time, and I can see that my colleague Lydia has been able to view this file, but our other colleague Irvin hasn't yet got the chance. That's really helpful information for me as the organizer of the meeting, because now I know that we'll be more productive if I spend a little bit of time going over the background and the context for Irvin so we can all start on the same page. This meeting goes really well, and I actually take down a few notes for follow-ups. So I'll go ahead and easily jump into our scan experience and scan those right now. All right, so those get scanned and saved, and I'll go ahead and save those to that Documents folder for me to keep later. Now, because OneDrive is built on the Microsoft Graph, we can integrate with Mail and Calendar to make helpful, timely suggestions like, do you want to share that file with this meeting you just had? In this case, I do, because I want them to get those follow-ups. So when I tap that, we'll see that same familiar sharing experience right here on iOS, only this time, my colleagues have already been filled in for me. We see that Lydia and Irvin are already listed on the to line, as well as a message saying where this content is coming from. And then before we even leave the room, I can tap Send, and they'll have those follow-ups right now when they're most relevant. Again, so with these 2 features, we just talked about ways I can improve before the meeting, and during the meeting, and after the meeting, which sounds pretty essential to me. So definitely start bringing your phones with OneDrive to those meetings. All right, let's go ahead and talk now about our third set of demos around productive photos. This kind of breaks up into 2 distinct areas, and so we're going to start with the first one, which is a new feature that we're finally bringing to OneDrive for Business accounts. For those of us who have been around for a couple of days already at Ignite, can anyone guess what I'm about to talk about? Camera backup, that's right, camera upload. Now, for those of you who have used our consumer offering, you'll know that the camera upload feature automatically uploads every photo you take on the device automatically to your account. You've told us loud and clear that you want that feature from OneDrive for Business on our user voice page, and so I'm super excited to announce that it's here. All right, let's go ahead and see what this looks like to turn that on. This feature is currently available to all of our iOS users in our latest update in the App Store, and it's currently in our Android beta community. If you would like to join our Android beta community and you're not there yet, stop by the booth, I think tomorrow, because we're going to be closed soon, and we'll help you get that started. So here I am on my iOS device, and I can tap this Me drawer. I'll go to Settings, and you'll notice now we have this camera upload thing there. Opening that, I'll see I have a toggle for this camera upload feature, as well as which account I would like to select. In this case, I'm only signed into one account, and so that's the one that's selected. Now, when I turn this on, I'm going to receive a prompt letting me know that all the photos and video, optionally videos, on my device are going to be uploaded. In this case, we want to be absolutely sure that you're ready for this content to get uploaded. So I hit yes, that is what I want. And again, this is a decision that is kind of hard to undo, and so we want to make sure we're extra communicative with our users. I'll go ahead and hit confirm again, and now camera upload is on, and all the photos currently on my device that are not yet uploaded to this OneDrive account will be uploaded. There are a couple settings I also want to call your attention to here. These options here allow me to customize when and how camera upload starts uploading that photo. And the last one is specific to iOS devices, and it's around HEIC and JPEG. For those of you who don't know, we can talk more about these different file formats at our booth, but HEIC is a smaller file type that came out and is taken by default on many of the newer iOS devices. That's what we recommend, but you'll find that the JPEG format tends to be a little bit more compatible with other services. So that's a decision that you and your end users can make together. All right, so for this to be a full, real demo, we need to take a photo so that we show that photo getting uploaded. So everybody smile. I can't get all of you, so I'll just point at one kind of group in the middle because they seem happy. And we'll go ahead and jump back into that OneDrive experience. As we go into the Photos view, this will show us all the photos currently in this OneDrive account. We'll see that OneDrive can now pick up this photo and has already uploaded it. It's very exciting. So of course, I can view that photo in my Photos view on the app, but I can also view it in my Files view. So if you ever want to open those files, say in your sync client, I'm going to show you how to do that. We, in your Pictures folder, automatically create a camera upload or camera roll folder when you turn on camera upload. We're also automatically creating folders by year and by month so that you can sort those photos based on their date taken. So here I have 2018, and within that I have the September month here. Opening that up, I'll see the photos that have been that were taken in September of 2018, all right here. All right, so that's kind of the first half around those productive photos. Let's talk now about another way we can get some productive photos, and that's with Scan. I'm going to transition us back to Android, and while I do, which I think that was 6, I would take a quick poll as to how many of you are Office Lens users. Again, quite a few of you. That's awesome. We're working closely with our friends in Office Lens to bring the best of Office Lens into the OneDrive apps and make it even easier for you to scan a file and save it to wherever you want in OneDrive or SharePoint. Let's go through an example together. And one of the things that I want to highlight before we go any further is how easy it is we're making it to jump into that Office Lens-powered scan experience. It's right here under my thumb. We'll start with an example that's pretty relevant now that we're all at Ignite, and that's around how you can start using the mobile apps today to help you right now. So whenever I come to Ignite, I need to keep track of 2 important file types. Not necessarily file types, but kinds of files. The first is receipts, because I need to go home and file that expense report. And 2 is business cards, because I'm meeting a lot of important people, and sometimes they have follow-ups, and I want to make sure that I can get back to them. So to prepare, I've created an Ignite 2018 folder, and within that, I have a receipts folder and a contact follow-ups folder. So let's go through those examples. Receipts, as you would expect, I can go ahead and jump into that folder, easily tap our Office Lens-powered scan experience, and take a receipt of my breakfast. All right, so I'll go ahead and save that right here to the receipts folder, and that'll be there when I want to upload that when I come home for my expense reports. We're a little bit possibly slow on Wi-Fi, so I'm just going to, oh, there it goes. All right, and the next one I want to do is with contact follow-ups. So I actually have a business card that one of my colleagues gave me, and I'll go ahead and scan that as well. This is a little bit of a light surface. Let's see if we get a better scan this time. All right, so I'll go ahead and scan that. And I'm going to rename that so that I know who this contact is. So I'll go ahead and upload that. And again, one of the pro tips that I can give you here is you can actually annotate this business card to take a quick note of what you and that person talked about to make your follow-up more relevant. So I'll go ahead and open that up and hit this pen icon. Here, I can take a quick annotation note and say that Ryan had a question on scan, for example. And I'll go ahead and save that. So now that note is there, and you can see it. But when I'm ready to follow up, I'll be able to open that up, read that note, and remember exactly what I need to follow up on. All right, the last demo I want to show you is how we can actually extend this example and talk about when you need to take those specific photos or scans for a particular task or project. For those, you might want to capture some additional information that's not quite in the photo. For example, maybe what product line does it relate to, or what is some extra job information about this that I need to document. For this example, our team has created a contact leads shared library that we can update. In this, I have a documents folder which looks a lot like my business cards already. This is several business cards that my team is creating for us to triage together when we get home. So let's say I actually want to upload that business card to this shared library. Go ahead and easily jump into that scan experience and take this business card again. I'll go ahead and put us in business card mode and take a scan. All right. And now that I'm going to be saving to this shared library, you'll see these 3 fields that I can add. We set these up beforehand, and every shared library can be customized for your own needs and tasks. In this case, the relevant pieces of information are Ryan's interest level in our follow-up, the follow-up type, and lastly, whether or not a contact has been assigned. We've added a default value of no to the contact assigned, so that's why it's filled in. Here I'm going to go ahead and indicate his interest level. It was very high. That question was super urgent. The follow-up type was a question, and no contact has yet been assigned, so we need to triage this together when we get home. I'll go ahead and update that again and rename it to Ryan H, and go ahead and hit save. So now that is getting uploaded along with my custom metadata answers right to that team site. Ooh. All right, so those are clearly our core demos. I want to put the slides back on to kind of close us out. So the first thing we talked about today is, again, all of those improvements we're making to viewing, finding, and sharing your files. We then talked about those new features coming to the mobile apps that will make your phones a meeting tool essential. And then lastly, we talked about all of those productive photo scenarios that are possible now with your phones with great cameras, and we're uploading those photos in addition to your critical metadata right into OneDrive or SharePoint. If you want to learn more, particularly about that productive photo experience, check out this talk we have going on tomorrow at 4:30. Ryan and Emmanuel, 2 of the folks on our team, will be diving a little bit deeper into exactly what's happening there and how that works. And then lastly, please evaluate this session. I would love your feedback, and I thank you again so much for coming. Have a great night.